Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about pregnancy tests because they are not created equal. And I have peed on millions of pregnancy tests. There's actually a term called pianistic addict, and that was me because I had quite a journey trying to conceive. So I have had 3 miscarriages and 1 successful pregnancy. And so I know which pregnancy tests are the most effective and the ones that work the best and which ones that don't. And I want to help you out if you're on this journey so you don't waste any money or like waste your time having feelings about something that is not right. I also just recently had a pregnancy scare, and that is another reason why I'm doing this video, because the pregnancy test that I used was not accurate. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. So for this, we'll start with this pregnancy scare. So I recently switched birth controls. Hold on, I'm gonna fix my camera. Okay. So I recently switched birth controls because after having my daughter and having a C-section, my period has been absolutely crazy. I've been on the same birth control for 13 years, and out of nowhere, I started having like 2 to 3 periods a month. So I was basically having periods all month long. So I switched birth controls, and then I skipped my period for like 3 days. I ended up getting it. But when I was missing my period, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a pregnancy test just to make sure that I'm not pregnant. So I went to Kroger, and they did not have first response or anything. They had their brand, which was the, I will put it down on I'll put like what it is because I forgot what it's called, but it's the Kroger brand pregnancy test. So I came home and I took it, and at first it was negative. And I know that they say to like throw out the test after whatever the window is, but I've never done that. And I checked it later and it turned positive, and it freaked me out. So they are these blue tests, like the lines, okay, it's too bright in here. The lines are blue. And here's what I'm gonna say about that. Blue line tests are less accurate than pink line tests, because like pregnancy tests will have evaporation lines after a while where the line that is supposed to be positive would be after the window. So let's say you are not pregnant. Well, hours later, that evaporation line that would be where it's supposed to be positive, or the double lines, will start to show. But if it's a pink pregnancy test, like if the ink is pink, it'll just be a clear line, and then you know it's the evaporation line. But on a blue pregnancy test, it can start to turn blue and it looks positive, which is so confusing. So my first tip is don't buy blue tests, buy pink ones. But okay, so these Kroger tests are terrible. They're cheap, and there's a reason they are cheap, because they are terrible. Both of these tests, you can't see it on here, but both of these tests are positive now. And that scared me because it's all I had. I didn't have any other tests. So that's when I went back to first response, which has always been the best test, the most accurate test I've ever taken. So I ordered some first response on Amazon because they are hard to find in store, honestly. I've been able to find them at Walmart, but when you go to Walmart, you have to ask them, at least at my Walmart, you have to ask them to like unlock the door and get them, and it's like always, it just takes so much time. So I ordered them on Amazon, as well as another brand I'm going to talk about. So I got my first response ones in, took the test, and it was negative. And you can trust first response. Like, they're the pink dye. Sorry, the lighting is so bad. But it's just the double line in pink. And you can trust first response. first response has the lowest, like it can detect the lowest amount of HCG. So whenever I was pregnant with my daughter after my miscarriages, I actually have it, a first response at 10 days past ovulation, and I got a positive line. And because it can detect the tiniest amount, it can detect, I think it's 6.5 units of HCG in the blood, which is the lowest amount that a test will detect. Because I know people also love clear blue, but the problem with clear blue is it doesn't detect it until it's, I think, 25 or 30 units of HCG. So you could take a clear blue test and it'll be negative until you hit that amount of HCG. So, and to kind of show y'all how much that actually is, when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, I found out from a first response test. I went the next day to get my blood drawn, and I only had 18. My HCG was at 18, so it still wasn't showing up on a clear blue. So I'm not to knock clear blue. I think clear blue is great, but it is a blue test. It just might take a while to show that you're pregnant. So personally, I prefer first response because it really does show at the first, like, tiniest bit of HCG. Another test that I wanted to talk about is the Clinical Guard pregnancy tests on Amazon. So they also are like clear blue, where they detect it, and I think once it's at 25. So you might not get a positive as quick as you would a first response, but these tests are so cheap because it's just a little tiny pea stick. So you can get 25 of these for like $7. And if you're crazy like me and you want to test every day or test like 3 times a day, this is the way to go because all the other pregnancy tests are so expensive. So I tested with this after the Kroger one, and this one was negative, as well as the first response. So I knew that it was negative. But I also, when I was pregnant with my daughter, I tested with these every day, and I did get positives. So I do know that they work. They just take longer to show up. So I'm gonna link all of those below, especially the Clinical Guard, because they're just so cheap, and like I feel like everyone should have them when they're trying to conceive. But if you really want to know like right away, especially if you've had miscarriages, I would buy first response, because I have to know like right away when I'm pregnant. Like they were giving me hormones the day they found out I had 18. My HCG was 18. So had I waited to get a clear blue positive, I probably would have already been miscarrying, because that's what happened with the previous 3 miscarriages. It's not like that for everyone, but that's what it was like for me. So long story short, the best pregnancy tests, in my opinion, are just the classic first response 5 to 6 days sooner. Not even the digital ones. I think it has, like, the classic ones are the best. And then the Clinical Guard ones that are just like the tiny little pea sticks. And then after all of that, I would say clear blue, but I just really don't like blue tests after. And this is not the first time I've had a false positive on a blue test. I've tried other tests with blue dye before, when I was trying to get pregnant, and they would turn positive, and I'd get so excited, and then I would get a first response and it would be negative. So I just want to like help y'all, prevent y'all from having false positives or false negatives if it's a test that doesn't detect HCG right away. And I just wanted to share what I thought, what my favorites are. So from here on out, I did buy another 25 pack of the Clinical Guard just to have it on hand. And if I really think I'm pregnant like if I'm really worried, I have a few of my first response ones on deck already upstairs, just because it's just good to have one that you know for a fact, like it is going to tell you if you're pregnant or not. So like, yes, it's more expensive, but like you'll know if you're pregnant. It's not going to have a false positive or negative, at least from my experience. And you end up saving money because you're not wasting money on the cheap tests that don't work. So anyways, that is the tea on pregnancy tests. I am not pregnant. According to the Kroger one, I am, but I am not pregnant. And I hope that y'all never get a false positive or negative, that you always get the results that you want. Share below if y'all have any pregnancy tests that you really like. I have heard that the dollar store ones are good, but like I feel like get the clinical guard. Get the 25 for $7. That's cheaper than the dollar store anyways. So, and it probably, the dollar store ones probably don't detect until the same amount, probably like 25 HCG anyways. So, but I could be wrong. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great day, and if you're on your journey to conceiving, prayers for you and your family, and I will talk to you later. Bye.